So, hello all. Welcome again to this series where we are trying to understand the fan engagement motivation in IPL. And we are talking to some passionate IPL fans who follow IPL very closely. So, in this series, today we have a Royal Challengers Bangalore fan, Saksham, with us. So, his story is very different from the other fans that we had so far. So, he started following IPL from 2013, not from the inception 28. So that's the question that I want to ask him first. But before that, let me tell you something about him. So he's from New Delhi, and instead of following Delhi Capitals, he follows Royal Challengers Bangalore. So that's another question that I want to understand from him. And his favorite cricketer is Virat Kohli since 2013, and right now also his favorite cricketer is Virat Kohli. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he follows RCB. But we want to hear it more from Saksham's mouth. So, first of all, welcome to this show, and I'm glad that you could make it. So, my first question to you is that being from Delhi, why did you start following RCB in 2013?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. And secondly, talking about the question which you asked, since very beginning, I remember in my childhood, we were not having the access to cable channels, at that time or now also, the IPL comes on Set Max, but we only had Doordarshan at our house. So we were only allowed to watch matches, or rather, we only had access to the matches of India, which were happening in India. So I grew up watching more cricket of Indian team rather than IPL. It was back in 2013 only when I started following IPL and was able to watch these matches. So since very beginning, I think it was 2011, or I remember when I first saw Virat Kohli. Okay, and then I was a big fan of Sachin. Of course, anyone who is have born in India would always want to follow Sachin, but it was in 2011 World Cup when I saw Virat Kohli play the way he only played for 35 runs something, but he played, and at that time when you have lost your two best batsmen, he played there, and that actually motivated me a lot, and I was just since then I was always being someone who always look up to Virat Kohli. And then when I started watching IPL, it was a very easy choice for me to follow RCB. And coming on to the record, if I see Delhi and RCB both are in the same boat. They have not
Right.
won a title yet, but since I was following Virat Kohli, so it was an easy choice for me to go for RCB.
Right. So you mentioned the god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, in your answer that you liked him very much, like every other Indian. So
Yeah.
why you didn't follow Mumbai Indians, where he was a player till then, and then he became the coach of Mumbai Indians? Why did you shift from Mumbai? Why did you shift to RCB?
Yeah, that is something which I thought of doing at first. But as an youngster, what I thought was, I always followed someone who would give me a path to my own story. And when I watched Sachin, I knew, it's hardly that he's not gonna uh, carry on with IPL, and he started to coach. So now you'll not see many fans following a team just because of the coach. You'll see players and their brand value they bring with them. So that was the reason, when I saw Virat Kohli, that aggression, and my family being a fan of Saurav Ganguly as well. And so I personally felt, and I think most of the youngsters of that time, they were keen supporters of Virat Kohli. The way he gave it back to the Australians, be it 2014, and so on. So since very beginning, I from coming from Sachin's era, where everything he just lets it bad talking, but Virat was someone who, along with the letting his bad talk, he started to give it back to them. So that's something I liked about it. And that's why I thought, maybe Sachin is just going away, and maybe just start following someone who is of more of here to stay. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Right. So Kohli has been a integral part of Royal Challengers Bangalore since 28. So he has been there since 2008. So,
Yeah.
but apart from Kohli, we don't see that kind of consistency in RCB squad. So, as a fan, what do you feel that season after season they release players and then those players perform well for any other franchise after leaving RCB?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is something which is very spot on, because you look at a squad, you cannot if you have suppose you have picked a player from some team, you cannot expect him to straight away deliver for your team. If I am picking, for example, Shane Watson, or if I have picked someone from the team, I cannot expect him to right away come, because someone is coming from another franchise. He has to change his environment. He has to cope up with new players, new coach, and it takes time. And that's something which I would like RCB to work upon, because they have been really inconsistent with the way they choose their teams, and the way they have gone about in the auction. I do not see the reason why I don't see Virat being so much involved in the team auctions. Because when I see it like Virat, Dhoni or other player, they actually have something in their mind, and then they have a correlation with the franchises, and they together go for a buy. But when I look at Virat Kohli, I was just hearing to one of his media conferences, and he told, we do not have that much of bowling. I mean, that is something which you cannot expect from a captain, because you're the captain of the team. You had the players at your table, and it was you and your franchise's responsibility to get some good players in the lot. So apart from that, I have seen many players. For example, for that matter, KL Rahul. I mean, the for KL Rahul and Gale, both of them. Okay, at some extent, I can tell. Okay, you can release KL Rahul, but releasing Chris Gale. Okay, even if he leaves 4 to 5 runs, because he's not that much on the field, but the amount of pressure he brings with him, the player, because he's a player who can on any given day can rule out the opposition. And with Kings 11 Punjab, when he started in the midway, I think after 6 games, he has scored 15 all those. So that's what he brings to the table. And those two were the ones, which might have, been the factor for RCB's, performance over the years after 2016. That's what I feel, and that's it.
Right. So, talking about RCB and the players that RCB has bought. So, RCB usually is that kind of franchise which that trusts data very much, but the captain of the team, he doesn't trust data that much. So, do you think there is this kind of misalignment, whether to use data or not? Or as a fan, what do you think that data's role should be?
Well, I heard some Ashish Nehra on commentary one day, and he told people like MS Dhoni don't rely on data that much. That what he used, and but I think RCB did something which was a blunder in terms of relying too much on data against Kings 11 Punjab, when they held back someone like AB de Villiers. I mean, it was like asking Virat to not go to the to play against spinners when he's the best batsman in your team. I think that is something which we, our franchise has to look upon. There are some data is something which will tell you that this has happened over a time, that this guy has got out these many times. But that doesn't mean you will not send him just thinking that he will not be able to do that, because every player is improving day by day. It's like asking Chiteshwar Pujara to not bat against Pat Cummins. He has got him 4 times, I guess. So you should not rely that much on data. Yes, data is there, but you have to use your mind, and that's something I think the RCB should have done in that match, because AB de Villiers is not a kind of a player who will come and whack you for sixes. He is someone who takes 5 to 10 balls and then he starts off with a flyer. So that is something I would love to see teams doing. Instead of relying on data, you have to use your instincts. You have to, I mean, just look at Rahane. I don't see any reason why in second match at Melbourne, any data would suggest that go with Ashwin in the very 10th over. So that is something that team should think upon. That data is there, but use your mind, use your experience. That's where it counts.
Right, right. So, what do you think is the role of support staff? So, how important is the support staff's role? Because in RCB, we know that there were times when Ashish Nehra was there in the setup. We all grew up watching Ashish Nehra. Right now, Mike Hassan is there in their setup. So, how important is it to have such kind of faces in the setup, and what kind of role do they play in order to build a team that can go all the way and win the first title?
According to me, support staff does play a role off the field, but what players have to do is something which a coach can suggest. It's like, ask, for example, if I take Mayank Agarwal, his technique has totally changed from what it was since last tour in Australia. His bat is coming out from upwards, and it's that by the time it comes there, it's already done. So I'm pretty sure the coaches might have talked with him that how you should change your technique. But when I saw him bat today in the match as well, he had the same backlift. So the coaches can tell you how to improve, but it's the player who has to improve. If you have the belief, I mean, you just look at some of the players. I think just go back to how Virat Kohli was in 2014 England tour. He was Jimmy Anderson got him out 5 times. So the way his foot movement was not coming, and then he rectified that and he improved. So that is something that Virat thought. He sat down. He might have thought of how to go about his process. The coach staffs, I personally feel a coach role is to create a very healthy environment within the team, because RCB had a bunch of very good coaches. They had a World Cup winning coach in Gary Kiston, who coached India when they won the World Cup. They have had the likes of Daniel Vettori, and they have had Mike Hassan is extremely a good player I have seen from his era as well. So, and Simon Katich as well, playing in a team like Australia who were at their peak in 90s. So they have got that coaches, but I think it's the player, it's their responsibility to take on. I mean, a coach cannot ask you to how to play a ball. It's about game awareness. If you look at the innings today, how Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur played, there I cannot imagine Ravi Shastri coming there and asking them, just go on, do things. There might have been a simple as a simple message from the team that go there, play positive cricket and show your character. So it's about the player, how he thinks, how his mind is working on the field, and having a bit of game awareness. That's what I think will work best for the teams.
Right.
Because you look at CSK, they have not had that much good support staff. It's all about how team players have responded, how their captain have been thinking over the time, and it just shows how successful they are. Because MI has Ricky Ponting as their I remember as their coach, They had Anil Kumble as their coach, but what stood out was giving a team to Rohit Sharma, who was a young captain then, and he, sort of started grooming the players, and that's where I think players have to come up.
Right, right. So you talked about some important aspects, especially the players responding to the need of the team and playing in their respective roles. So how important is it to find that kind of domestic talent who can perform well in IPL and especially at the big stage when you are playing with the likes of ABD and Virat Kohli. So how important is it? Because we have seen that the batting of RCB has always dependent on Virat Kohli and ABD. So do you think that there is kind of additional pressure on the youngsters who play for RCB, especially the batsmen?
I think it is. If you look at Indian batting lineup, there is always a huge amount of pressure on anyone who is coming after Virat, Rohit, and Shikhar Dhawan, for that matter, in ODIs. And that has been the story for RCB and Indian team simultaneously. If you look at RCB, what actually this year I saw their bowling bringing them back in the matches, but it was their batting which actually let their team down. And the main aspect is, when Virat Kohli and someone like Abe de Villiers are there, what players tend to think is, okay, if I'm not able to play, also there is Virat with me, there is ABD. Anyhow, if it's like, and it's something which we as the fans have also, culprits of that. If Virat Kohli scores 30 odd runs, we go up, uh, giving tweets and starting celebrating 30 or even a 50. But when someone like, if I'll say Devdutt Padikkal for this matter, or any other player scores a 50 or 40 odd runs, we do not give them their due credit. And that is something which I've also seen the problem why India was not able to find a number four going into the World Cup. So that is something, okay, it is something which a team, you can ask them for a blessing to have players like Virat and ABD in the same lineup, but actually that puts a lot of pressure on people who are coming after them, or even as an opening batsman. So what I think players should look to do is they should treat Virat and ABD as any other normal player. Because if I'll see that there are player, just take an example of Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur. If they had thought that we are batting against the likes of Stark, Hazelwood, and Pat Cummins, I think they wouldn't have, able to play even one ball, because that's what pressure does. So you have to take out that picture of Virat and ABD out of your mind, and just have to think about how to meet your bat in the middle of your bat, and able to score some plenty runs, which will be handy for your team.
Right. So RCB is that kind of team. You don't know which kind of RCB will turn up on the field because they have scored the highest runs in IPL and they have also scored the lowest runs in IPL. So when their social media campaign, they use the hashtag play bold. So what does that mean to you as a fan?
Well, the word play bold is pretty much how Virat is. If you look at Virat, whenever he steps into the field, he always thinks of giving 100%, whether it is fielding, whether it is encouraging the crowd to, sort of go on to their seats, or whether it is anything. I mean, he is very animated, and that's how he has, contained his Indian team as well, always on their toes. And according to me, what play bold means is, okay, there are some 7 runs needed in 5 balls or 10 balls. Be there in the moment, give everything you have, even if it is a single. You can just look at the approach of, I was just listening to a commentary in IPL. There was Kevin Peterson and I think Mike Sunil Gavaskar, and they were just talking about the intent that Virat or David Warner or AB de Villiers, these players bring to the table. Even if it is a single, they are putting pressure on the fielder by trying to take second run. So that's something that I mean, that you have to give everything you have. A word which stand outs for me apart from play bold is character, and that the both are interrelated, and that's how our Indian team has played in this series, in India Australia series. First match, you're down and out for 36. There are plenty of doubts on your team, your abilities, everything. Your captain is gone, but you have come out and played freely. I mean, that is something you can call playing bold, or rather playing your character. So that is something which stand outs for the team, I think. And RCB has tried to do that for quite a time, and I just hope they keep doing it and do not lose it, even if Virat and ABD goes.
Right, right. So continuing this question and the answer that you gave. So do you think that play bold represents only the RCB batsmen, or is it also for the RCB bowlers?
Yeah, I mean, it is for everyone, even if it is a wicket keeper or someone is bowling. As I said, even if you are a fielding, your character should be there on the point. Even if the batsman is trying to take single, you have to be there on the toes. You have to go on there. You should not let the batsman take singles here and there. Okay, so it is about how team is performing on a given day. Like for example, if it there is a bowler who is being whacked for fours and sixes here and there, but still when you come out to bowl your next over, your energy, your concentration, everything should be on the ball which you are going to bowl the very next time. So play bold is something which I think, according to me as a fan, is each and every player of that team, even if it is a 12th man, or even someone who is not playing, it's about giving 100% in what you do. you know it doesn't matter if you're batting, fielding, wicket keeping, or doing anything apart from the game.
Right, right. So, continuing this discussion. So, when we look at the list of IPL franchises and their number of followers and the kind of revenue that they generate, we see that Mumbai Indians is on top, then we have Chennai Super Kings, and then RCB is at third position. So, do you think that winning the cup has somewhat affected RCB and its fan following? Because whatever fan following the RCB has right now, those are just Virat Kohli's fans.
I think it is because I was just hearing to Gautam Gambhir say that you have to sack Virat Kohli out as captain of the team. I think RCB will not do that, even if in their wildest dreams. It is because Virat Kohli is not just a name; it's a brand. Just look at the hype of India Australia series. Okay, it's about, it was right from the start. It's Virat Kohli. Okay, I was amazed at the amount of you can call it heroism, or you can call popularity that Virat Kohli has in Australia. You know, I think RCB will lose a lot of fans and lot of their you can call popularity or stuff. If Virat, or even for that matter, any one of them, whether it's Virat or ABD, leaves, because people have stuck to this team, believing that no, these two are there, they are always there, giving up their 100%, and they will one day win us the title. This is the typical mindset of any fan who has been following RCB. That okay, it is not happening, it will happen one day, and these two are the ones who are gonna do it. It's like uh, now just have a look at this Australian series. At the first, people were talking more about Virat Kohli leaving than about who is playing there. People were talking, I was hearing two debates and discussions that Virat Kohli is going to leave, India is not going to have anything left, they are not they are going to be down and out by 4-0. I mean, you have to talk about who is playing. Okay, he's going to leave, just leave that. Talk about someone who is going to play there after Virat Kohli. Talk about Rahane playing there, talk about his role. So that is something which we because India is a country, you have to understand, where people love cricketers more than cricket. India has always been a country, whether you start from Sachin Tendulkar, you come to MS Dhoni, you come to Virat Kohli, maybe after Virat you have Rohit and all those. So people have started loving cricketers more than cricket. You look at an Indian match, and if India lose there or if India win and Rohit doesn't score, there are trolls saying flatman Rohit. There are trolls if Virat Kohli doesn't score, choker Virat. So these are some of the things which have come into cricket lately, after social media, that people have started following cricketers more than cricket, you know. And I'm really happy that the way this test series have been, there is no Virat, there is no Rohit. People are keenly following the team. They're happy with the team's win. I saw when Ashwin was able to, get his team, stand out in the series, and there was no trolls here and there. So that is something which I liked in the recent time. But talking about your question, I think it will leave a huge blow to the RCB franchise if any one of them leaves.
Right, right. So that's a brilliant answer, and you gave some very good insights. So my next question is that whenever IPL is about to start, the RCB fans believe that this is their season, and they start using the hashtag Isala Cup Naam De. So the day when RCB will win the cup, in a hypothetical situation, the day when RCB will win the cup, what will be their hashtag next year?
I think it will be the same, or rather, they'll come up with something like in I don't know the words, but they'll come up in English like once more. We want more, or something like once more, because it's a never ending hunger, I can call. Because you go onto the field, I think no player or no team goes onto the field to lose a match. you know any team who is entering into a tournament, they always think of, or they believe in winning the match. And even the fans, because of the emotion of the fans, I think everyone wants the team to win. I think it's like just take an example of MI. It's not like they are not hungry. They are not wanting to win. They have 5 cups, and they're even wanting to have one more. They're wanting to have even more, and that doesn't affect their fan base at all. That okay, now MI has already won for 5 cups. Now I'm gonna start supporting someone who has not won any. So it's like people wanting more and more. And if you'll just take out the IPL title out of it and look at how Team India is. We won the Border Gavaskar Trophy last time, but it's not like we are giving it away. We do not have our star players. We do not have anyone. I think from the first match, only 2 players have been the consistent squad member of this team. So it's like more and more hunger you have for the win. And even if I think the clear or the near goal for RCB for now is to win a title. and winning one more will be something we'll talk about after that. For now, I think we all fans want RCB to win at least one title and have Virat have something which everyone has talked about, him not having an ICC title and RCB an IPL title. So I would love him getting one this year.
Yes, yes, yes. All the fans are really hoping that this will happen. So my second last question to you is that RCB as a franchise has Virat Kohli, the Team India's captain, as their captain, who has a pan India following. And then they have ABD, one of the best overseas players whom everybody in India loves. And then they have this slogans on social media, Isala Cup Namde and all, which are local slogans, which are in local language. And then one of their star Indian players, apart from Virat Kohli, is again Devdutt Padikkal, who is again a local boy. So, as a franchise, are they managing the local fans and the pan India fans properly, or are they trying to dive into two very diverse ways where they are not able to target the pan India following as well as the local following?
Well, that is very interesting one, but I would say it doesn't matter if it is a local, it is a bonus. If it is a local, it is a bonus. But I don't think so that will play any anything which will be playing on the franchise's mind, because you look at Chennai Super King years before when they were releasing Ashwin. Ashwin is a local boy. They had tremendous uh, criticism from fans that you have let go Ashwin. He has been integral part of the team. He is a local boy, but I don't think so. The fan base has decreased. Even if you told me that they are the second most followed franchise. So according to me, if you look at CSK as well, CSK, I don't think so has any one who belongs from Chennai right now. They have in squad, but they do not have those many players playing in 11. Okay, Ambati Raidu is always a South Indian, but he hails from Hyderabad. So you, as a team, all you want is your players to win it. If you are from for example, if I'll take RCB, you're from Bangalore or you are from Canada, anywhere, it is a bonus. But I don't think so it will play anything, because all you want to see is your team win. And I have had friends from Bangalore who from Mysore, and all they care about is their team winning. And if you'll know, RCB and CSK, apart from Dhoni versus Kohli, there is an exciting rivalry because of that water and all those things flowing in the two states. So they have a really rivalry going on. So all they want is, okay, even if you are not winning a title, win it against CSK. We want you to win against CSK. So that has been the story so far, and I feel that yeah, it is a bonus. I think you can take it as a bonus, but it's not gonna play for long for any team. It's like Punjab is having how many? Yeah, I think I can see Harpreet Brad, one player who plays from Punjab, is a Punjabi, and you have one more,
Mandeep
Amandeep
Singh.
Singh, who was a bowler, I think, है ना? So apart from that, I can't see many Punjabis there. So it's all about how you play the game and how you can keep your fans on the toes.
Right, right. So my last question to you is that I was anyway going to ask you about the fan rivalries, and you mentioned fan rivalry. So you being
Yeah.
from Delhi and following RCB, so both Delhi and RCB have performed really well in the recent season. But from a fan's perspective, so which franchise do you think will win their maiden title first, Delhi or RCB, and why?
Well, if you talk about maiden titles, I think Kings 11 is also there in the in the race. They were not able to get many wins in the first half of the table, or first half of the season. but they were pretty much in the line till the last half. And according to me, the first team who's gonna win, um, maybe Delhi is slightly ahead of RCB, I would say, because of their bowling lineup and fearless batsman in Stoinis, who doesn't fear at all. He can start hitting you from the very first ball. We have seen that in Big Bash League as well. And the only concern with RCB is the over reliance on Virat and ABD. The players have to think out of the box. They have to only focus on the ball. They should not think of anything. They should uh, make their presence count. It's not like, there was I was just listening to one story with Virat Kohli was telling in his interview. He told, every time I walked into the field, I wanted to make it count. When the opposition should see me, they should not say like, okay man, he's gonna play 4 to 5 balls and he's gonna go, he's not gonna make much of a difference or a damage. So I want every player of the RCB team to think like that, to not let off go the chance they have. And they should actually look to, you can say, make an big impact, not even a big impact, a very handy contribution. And that's what will make them win their first title. But right now, if you talk, because I think in a 1 week time we will be having the auctions, small auctions. So after that I'll be able to really think upon this and who is going to win. But right now, if I talk about the last season or so, I think Delhi is slightly ahead of RCB, and they are very close to a win. And obviously, who is just played a final, they're obviously ahead in the line.
I think that's a very honest answer from a RCB fan. And it was really nice talking to you, and you gave some really brilliant insights. So, once again, thank you very much for coming to this show. And it was really nice talking to you. I hope the
Yeah,
fans will like this episode very much.
yes, always a pleasure.